The following audio clip is part of a conversation I had with a collector named Chatri who goes by Wade_Zoe on Instagram. As part of this conversation, I asked him to count down his 3 favorite cards in his collection. So I'd like to play that for you today, and then I'm also going to give you some visuals to go along with that conversation. So I hope you enjoy it.
So I suppose my number 3 card would be a card that's numbered out of 3, would be this Dwayne Wade status parallel from 2018-19 status. Yeah, it's just a super cool card. It's out of 3. And for me, this is the story that goes along with it as well. I remember waking up one day, you do that stupid thing where you checked, the eBay previous sales for whatever reason. It's never a good thing.
That's painful.
And I saw that this card had sold basically as a buy it now. And that's another disadvantage of living not in the US, is you just get so many cards that get.
I have the opposing fear that the international collectors are going to swoop in and scoop up the cards that I'm looking for that I'm not seeing late at night. So that might be a worldwide thing here.
I think we might need to have some kind of coalition of people who just stay up 24/7 just to make sure that certain cards can get sniped appropriately. But yeah, so this card basically, I tracked down the seller eventually. It took me ages to find him, and he bought it for his kid. So this Dwayne Wade card he bought for $60 as a buy it now, because that's what it was priced at. And he just told me flat out he'd never sell it because it's his kid's favorite card. So I was like, okay. But I just kept bugging him basically. And it got to a point where, I think I was actually in the States. I was visiting my dad who now lives just outside of Boston. So I was out there visiting my dad over the Christmas period. And for some reason, this guy decided to post it on eBay just to see, because he must have thought, this guy is so keen on this card, this has to be worth a ton. So he posted on eBay, and it was just crazily high price, so no one touched it. And then, I managed to negotiate a price with him to buy it. So that reminds me of that painful experience, but also just the elation of having him accept my offer finally when I was visiting my dad. So that's a PC card for sure. That'd be number 3.
Now, let me interject here. If memory serves me correct, 2017, the Wade is a bit of an eyesore because it's a Cavs card, right? Numbered out of 9.
That is, yeah. You didn't need to bring that up, but yeah, that's why I like the 2018 better when he's back with the Heat. And it is out of 3, whereas the other one's out of 9. So I do have one of those as well.
I think they look nicer too. I'll give you that too.
They look nicer. And again, not to go back to Panini bashing, but it is very clear when you put this alongside. This is another thing I will say, my last piece against Panini. I've noticed this when they cut out players, and this is different to what they used to do back in the 90s. When they cut out players on Panini cards, for some reason they have to put the whole player from head to toe on the card. So in this, I'm holding up here, you can't see it, but Dwayne Wade's going up for a right-handed floater in the lane, I'm guessing. So he's got his right arm extended, he's got the ball at the tip of his fingers, and they've included all of that as they've cut him out. So when you think about how small that's going to be as you shrink it down to fit onto a tiny card, he looks miniature here.
Yeah.
And I've noticed they do that on a ton of their cards. That's one of my biggest pet peeves with how they treat their photography.
At least he's complete though, because I can tell you, I think Austin Crozier on his metal card might be missing half of his head. The cropping on some of those was pretty rough.
It was rough. Yeah. I guess there's always improvements. Right. So there's always in-betweens to go to, but anyway, that's my minor pet peeve. I'll stop bashing Panini now.
All right. So number 2 then, what you got for me?
Number 2 would be going back to 96-97, Skybox Autographics, but this is the blue ink parallel of Alonzo Mourning. And this is, again, going back to, I'd never thought I'd see this card. I think when I was collecting autographics in the 90s, and I remember at my local card shop, they had a Clyde Drexler blue, and everyone lost their minds over it. And for people who don't know, the 96-97 autographics were all signed in black ink, except for the first 100 cards, apparently, were all signed in blue. And there are some exceptions to that. So Scottie Pippen and Hakeem Olajuwon had all their cards in blue. And Kevin Garnett signed 2/3 of his cards in blue and 1/3 in black. So if you ever see the Kevin Garnett blue on eBay and people say it's out of 100, that is a flat out lie. The black one is the rarer one for KG. But for every other player, the first 100's in blue. And yeah, Alonzo Mourning, I never thought I'd see it. And the issue with these autographs as well is over time, this is, what are you talking, like 26 something years? They tend to fade and the color changes. So oftentimes you can't tell what the original ink color was. So to find one that still looks sharp blue is very hard to track down. So I was really excited to add this one to the collection, and that one's not gone anywhere either.
All right, perfect. And that was an eBay win?
That was an eBay win, yeah.
Perfect. All right, so number one, what you got for us?
Number one is going back to 97, 98, EX 2001, Essential Credentials Now of Alonzo Mourning. Ooh. And there's just so many things I love about this card. Big fan of green, as you know. That's why I like the Hornets to start with. And the Now parallels are all green on this year. And I suppose it's just the whole use of technology. You've got the foil, the acetate, the die cut, everything's all sort of put together into one card. And I think it's just a quintessential 90s card. And I completely understand why, they're so heavily sought after even today. But for me, it was important just to add this one just as a shout out to my younger self, because it's something I never thought I'd ever be able to obtain. So yeah, it's just a nice feeling to have that in hand after 20 something years of never even expecting to see one in person.
And is that your Instagram profile picture? Is that card?
It is.
It is. Yep. Okay. I never pieced it together until now, but that I guess makes perfect sense to me now.